All right, we're going to start chapter 12, and chapter 12 has to do with posting all of the transactions that we put into our journals, and we're going to put them into individual accounts. There's some main differences here, and I want to review a little bit. Looking at the first 9 chapters, that was a sole proprietorship, and we had a general journal, just one general journal, and we posted that and those transactions and those amounts to a general ledger. Well, in the second 9 weeks, or the second 9 chapters, what we have is a partnership. So we have more than one person owns this business. And we don't just have one general journal. In chapters 10 and 11, we discussed 5 different journals, from the general journal, cash receipts journal, cash payments journal, sales journal, and purchases journal. Okay, so 5 different journals. Now we need to take those and we need to post it to our ledger, our individual ledger accounts. And that's the main difference. We have 5 journals instead of 1 in a partnership. And also we have what's called subsidiary ledger accounts. Okay, and if you look on page 272, and I want you to read this carefully to learn these terms to start chapter 12, it says, a business needs to know the amount owed each vendor as well as the amount to be collected from each customer. So if we buy something on account, we need to know we're going to buy it, probably our merchandise, from multiple vendors. So we want to have individual ledger accounts for each person we owe money to. Same thing with when we sell merchandise on account. We want to know who owes us money, and we want to have individual ledger accounts for that. Therefore, a separate account is needed for each vendor and each customer. Again, a vendor is someone who we buy from. A customer is someone who buys from us. It says Omni keeps a separate ledger for vendors and a separate ledger for customers. Each separate ledger is summarized in a single ledger account. And what that means is basically we're going to take all of the accounts payables and all of the accounts receivables, and we're going to summarize them in the general ledger. But each customer is going to have their own ledger account, and we call that a subsidiary ledger right here. What we're going to work on today is an accounts payable ledger. But again, what an accounts payable ledger is a subsidiary ledger containing only accounts for vendors, people who we buy from on account, from whom items are purchased or bought on account. Accounts receivable ledger is for charged customers, or for people that buy from us and we allow them to buy it on credit. You owe us in 30 days, or you owe us in 2 months, whatever the terms are. Total amounts are summarized in single general ledger accounts, accounts payable and accounts receivable. And these are called controlling accounts. So underneath the accounts payable ledger account are going to be all of our businesses that we owe money to. Same thing here. Under the general accounts receivable ledger, we're going to have all of our individual accounts of customers that owe us money. All right. We always want to keep a balance. We want to know what we owe and what people owe us. It's a big thing. All right, so moving on. I'm going to turn to page 274, and this starts 12-1. And what we're going to learn today is posting from the from the purchases journal to our ledger accounts. And you can see here how they kind of have broken this down. This is your main account, your how much we owe, $19,044.08. Well, within that accounts payable, we have these different people that we buy our merchandise from, and we owe them money. We need to keep track of that. So this is your controlling account. These are your subsidiary ledger accounts. Okay, so within the main accounts payable, we have all of these secondary, subsidiary, however you want to call it, accounts. Okay, and all of these added together is a summary right here. So let's move on. Again, I'm going to move to page 275 here, and how to fill out a ledger account. So we need to take what's on the purchases journal, and we're going to move it to the accounts payable. Remember, purchases journal is only merchandise that we buy on account and in turn sell to our customers. Okay, so these are like your wholesalers. We're the retailer. So here is the subsidiary accounts payable ledger account. All right, and how to do this? You're going to see vendor name. You're going to write the vendor name. You're going to write the vendor number. There's always going to be, that's how we refer to it. Normally you're not going to have it in alphabetical order. You don't sort your accounts like that. You sort your accounts by number. So you're going to put the vendor number there. Each different customer or business that we buy from is going to have a vendor number. We're of course going to write the date. We're going to put the first, or actually we will put the first of the accounting cycle there. And we're going to put balance. We're going to put the post ref as a check mark because we're not posting this anywhere. And here's our balance. So we owe African importers $5,808. When we pay that back is up to the terms of the sales agreement. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to look at the purchases journal right here. And we're going to put the date, transfer the date over. Now this is obviously a different vendor. We're going to transfer the date over of the date of the transaction. The post reference number, and again, this is important because it proves that we posted it to our ledger account. So we have page 11 of the purchases journal, P11, right here. We're going to take the actual amount of that transaction and we're going to put it in the credit side. Okay, because this is accounts payable credit. This is the accounts payable. This is the account that we owe money to. We're going to add it to our balance. Now, since this is the new, since we didn't have a balance before, this is our current balance. As we put more transactions in from our purchases journal, your balance will increase or decrease. If we pay them back, it's going to be recorded here, and then our balance will decrease. If we buy more merchandise and haven't paid them, it's going to appear in this credit column, and we're going to add it. All right, because all liabilities, which this is an accounts payable, which is a liability account, their normal balance is a credit. And again, make sure we have the vendor number up there. So some terms to review. Make sure that we're, from page 272, make sure that you're familiar with these terms. Now that's pretty simple, 12-1, that's it. I want to go through the work together with you, and what I want you to do, if you haven't done already, is you need to download the accounts payable ledger. Make sure that you click and it's going to appear somewhere up here, but it's going to say enable editing. Make sure you click that. So you have your list of vendors here. All right, now it shows 4, and this is going to look just like the book. I'm on page 277. And I'm working through the work together. It says the following partial journal page for Graphics Incorporated is in your working papers. Now I'm going to show you this real quick, and this is maybe where you want to hit pause. Let me just show you real quick. So here's what we have. This is what we're working from. And again, this is maybe where you want to hit pause. You can see there's, it goes from line 7 to line 14. There's obviously other transactions, but we're just going to post this one transaction to our general ledger. So again, hit pause if you need to at this time to see what we're working at. So I'm going to go into my ledger. Now it also says start a new page for the accounts payable ledger, account for Regal Designs. So in this box here, I'm going to type Regal. Take my cap locks off. Regal Designs. The vendor number is given for us, and it's account number 240. So that's how we're going to identify them. Again, don't start on this very top line here. That's kind of cut off. Go right to this box. The account number is 240, and the balance for October 1st of the current year is $877. So currently on October 1st, we owe them $877. So we're going to put October 1st, 2014. And actually, what I would do is I would put 2014 here so we know the year, and then October 1st. You can kind of see how that'll work. Make sure this is right here. Balance. Post reference is a check mark. What I would suggest is just coming up here and just filling it black. That'll work for me. You could also, and that just tells us we don't need to put anything in this box. You could also put an X would work, or check mark, whatever you want, just so you know and so that I know that you're not going to fill out this box. So we have the current balance is $877. So we don't need to put anything in the debit or the credit. We're going to put the credit balance of $877. Now a lot of you did this before. If you don't see the period and the 00, you need to format your cells, select them, and just hit the dollar sign. Okay? And that makes it a little bit more official. All right, so we have our balance in for this account. And what we need to do is post the entry from line 7, which here's line 7. On the 19th, Regal Designs, we purchased on account merchandise $1,403.20. You're going to notice the post reference here. That's the account number. That comes after we put it into our accounts payable ledger. So 140320. Let's just put that in now. 140320. Again, you don't see the dollar sign, so what you can do is select all these cells and hit this button right here. Will give us the automatic. Now what we can do here is we can put a little formula to add it for us. I'm going to put the equal sign in this box. You're going to see this up here in the formula bar. Equals this box plus this box. H7 plus G8. If I hit enter, it automatically totals that for me. Now what's kind of neat is I can take this, go back up to this box, and if I come to the corner where my mouse turns to this and I drag it down, now it'll put whatever amount I put in here, will add it automatically. Okay. Now we do want to go back and we want to write the date, which was the 19th. Okay, we don't need to include anything here, as you can see, because we already know it's Regal Designs. Post reference is P10, page 10 of the Purchases Journal. So we're going to put P10, capital P10. Again, that indicates Purchases Journal, page 10. We have our totals here. This is what it should look like. This is what yours should look like. Okay. When you do the next one, which is the on your own, you're going to use, it's kind of the same thing, but you're going to use a different, I'll show you here. We're done with work together. What you might want to do at this time is go to File. Actually, you do want to do this, and you're going to want to save it to your H drive, wherever your H drive is. Make sure that you save this as 12-1 WT. Work together. We're going to use this for later on in the chapter. So make sure that you do save this to your H drive. I would create a new folder called Chapter 12. Put everything in there labeled just like this. That would be real helpful for me too. Okay, so let's look at on your own here. By the way, this is what your work together should look like, just like it does in Excel. Here's on your own, and it's going to ask you to put this transaction from the Purchases Journal into a ledger account, into the accounts payable. Accounts payable subsidiary ledger account. I hope this helps. Complete the on your own. When you get to the application problem for 12-1, let me take a look here real quick. You're probably going to need something from the working papers. Let's go down to that. So again, you might want to pause it. You can refer back to this. Let's go down to the application problem here for 12-1. There's a lot in this chapter. Okay. Here is your purchases journal. And what you're going to need to do is have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to have 4 different accounts that you're going to start. Okay. By the way, once you've posted to your subsidiary ledger, you're going to want to come back to the purchases journal and write the post reference number, which is the account number. That proves again that you've posted it, you've checked it off the journal, it's done. Okay. So anyway, that goes through 12-1. The on your own, the work together, and the application problem. Make sure that you're saving your files correctly. And if you have any questions, let me know, or re-watch this video. Pause it, stop it, so that you can kind of figure it out here.